There are so many reasons why you want to be investing on the island of Puerto Rico, and I'm going to highlight a few of them. One, there's a tourism boom. The island has decided that it wants to increase the GDP from about 6% of the total GDP through tourism up to almost 20% of the GDP. And if real estate investors will invest in this way through Act 60, you can get up to 40% tax credits back. So that's spectacular. And if you want to invest that way, we've got tons of content on that. Subscribe to the channel and go check out some of our other long form content. The next thing that I want to talk about is that properties cost less here on the island than they do pretty much wherever you're from, if you're from the mainland USA, so that you can have your money go further than wherever it does. For me, I came from Orlando, Florida. My money goes about 3 times as far as it did back in Orlando. That means for every one deal that I could do in Orlando, Florida, I could do 3 on the island of Puerto Rico. There are great tax incentives. The island of Puerto Rico wants people to come to the island. People have been exiting the island, and in fact, the population has been decreasing for more than a decade. And it's only just with this last census that we finally started to see population growth. So in order to get people who have left the island, they call it a brain drain, where the young population, the young locals, leave the island for opportunities in the mainland. Now, finally, with this economy that we're in right now, they are coming back to the island, and there's more opportunity here than there is in the States. Guys, I want to give you 2 strategies. Just 2 strategies that if you use them and implement them here on the island of Puerto Rico, you're going to be wildly successful. We're doing both of them, and you can too. The first strategy that I really love, it's probably my very favorite way to invest in real estate. It's the good old traditional buy and hold. And we are value add real estate investors, which means that when we buy a property that needs a whole bunch of money, we're looking for what its highest and best use is. And for the last several years, we were using Act 60 tourism and having our eye turned towards tourism. Now, there's a brand new act called Act 182 that is going to give us similar type tax credits, but we're able to invest in those properties with the eye towards long-term housing. What does that mean? That means that if we take a property that's vacant and distressed and not in use, and we would have put it as a 7-unit guest house, we now can put it as a 7-unit apartment complex and rent it out long-term. And rather than having to jump through all of the hoops to be a hotel or a guest house, we can just set it up to be long-term housing. I believe that this does a couple of things. It gives you stable income, number 1, but number 2, I think that it helps more people on the island of Puerto Rico. There is a 250,000 housing shortage island-wide, and this is something that's been in existence ever since Hurricane Maria. So for 7 years, we've been down about 250,000 houses, and that means 250,000 families that want and need long-term housing just simply don't have lots of good options. So if you can invest in this way, and I love that the island has now finally passed a law that they're giving incentives for real estate investors to invest in this way, you're going to help the most amount of people. You're going to get very good income for yourself, but you're also going to do a lot of good for the people who live in the homes. Act 182 also differs from Act 60 tourism in that you can invest in this way for resale or for the long-term rental play. So we like to do long-term rental plays, but if you want to be a ground-up developer and sell them off, you can still get 40% tax credits. So there's like a bonus for you with this buy and hold or buy for the long term. This is long-term housing using Act 182, getting 40% tax credits. Wow, what's better than that? Let me tell you why I like this long-term housing play so much. It's because I don't have to know what something's going to sell for on the back end. I know what I can buy it for when it's a distressed building, and I can buy it really well. It's got a very, very bad use. It's just sitting there being abandoned and not in use, making no money for anybody. So I get to buy it really, really cheap. And then I can figure out what it's going to cost me to renovate it. I can buy it, I can renovate it, and then I can back into what I want to make as a return on investment. So I can figure out if I'm going to have a 7-unit apartment building, what are those 7 units going to rent for, and how much money am I going to have in the purchase and the renovation. If the purchase and renovation cash on cash return is good enough that I'm happy with the investment, I really don't even need to know what the comps are. Why do I like this so much? It's because on the island of Puerto Rico, the data is so difficult to get. But it's always easy to do the 3rd grade math and figure out I've bought something for $50,000 and I've renovated it for another $50,000. Now I know I've got $100,000 in it and I can rent it out and get a net cash on cash return of 20% a year or $20,000 per year in rents. That's a great deal. That's a 20% cash on cash return. That's what we look for when we're doing the long-term rental play. When we find that, we know that we're safe to buy it. We may be buying it with tons of equity. We may be buying it with no equity at all. It doesn't really matter to us because because what's important is that we're going to get our money back in about 5 years. And anytime we can do that on a long-term rental play, we're all in on it, baby. We want to do that. We want to do more of that. In fact, we've been very successful doing that for the last several years. And now with Act 182, they're going to give us 40% tax credits. So we're going to even get a better deal than we were getting before. Let me tell you about Act 182 just a little bit, because the deal I just described for $100,000 probably isn't something that you should try and cram into an Act 182. You want to do the bigger deals. In fact, you probably want to be doing those $700,000 or $800,000, $900,000 or $1 million investments in order to jump through all of the hoops. Just because the island is offering you tax credits doesn't mean that it's easy to get them, and it doesn't mean that they're automatic. You have to follow their rules, you have to jump through all of their hoops, and there's a cost to doing that. And there's a lot of work that goes into doing that. So what we've discovered through our investment strategy on the island, when we want to get those tax credits, in the past it was through tourism, and now in the future it'll be through Act 182, we need to do bigger projects. If we're not doing a big enough project, it just simply isn't worth the time and effort that goes into it. You're better off just doing it and not jumping through all of the hoops and taking all of the brain damage of hitting your head against the wall to deal with the island of Puerto Rico's government, because that is difficult. But they are still very friendly to real estate investors. I'm kind of talking out of both sides of my mouth. I'm just telling you where we're at and the experience that we've had. We've done some smaller deals where we were trying to get tax credits and actually did get tax credits. And at the end of the day, we look at ourselves and go, man, was it worth it? I don't know. So from now on, we're doing the bigger deals with the tax credits, and we're doing the smaller deals just straight up cash on cash plays. Here are some of the things I love about the buy and hold method as a real estate investor. The steady income that you get once you've done the value add and you get the place rented out. Now you can kind of set it and forget it. This is a very, very easy managed business to get your arms wrapped around. This is certainly not rocket surgery, and it's not difficult stuff. You're going to buy something down here, you're going to fix it up, then you're going to get it rented out at a cash flowing number that you're happy with. You don't need to comp things out. You don't need to do anything really other than that. Now you've got this beautiful piece of real estate that you've fixed up to its highest and best use, and you let your renters pay down what you've spent on it over time. As we talked about earlier, I like to do those long-term rental plays where we're getting our money back in 5 years or less, and you can do that. If you can do that in the market you're at in the USA, you should do that. I had to come from Orlando, Florida to Puerto Rico to find those types of deals. Back in 2010 to 2014, they were readily available all over the state of Florida, but that just hasn't been the case for a long time now. But it is still the case on the island of Puerto Rico. So that's number one. Cash flow is king, and I love cash flow. The second thing that I really like about the long-term buy and hold method is that you can get good tenants who sit in there and they're going to pay for your property and they're going to pay for your lifestyle, and you'll get a low turnover, so you won't have to do a lot of work. As opposed to what we've done recently investing in hospitality, they're in and out every single night. So you have to renovate to a better level. You have to do much, much more management. And you should, in theory, be making more money. However, is it really is the juice worth the squeeze? That's the question, right? So if it's 5 times as much work to have a hospitality project working as it is to have a long-term rental project, and you make 3/4 of the same amount of money, I think going with the long-term play just makes a lot of sense. So again, that's exciting me on the island of Puerto Rico. We want to get back to our roots. We want to get back to providing housing for local people, and we want to get back to long-term rentals. And not that we're going to not invest in hospitality anymore, but right now for the next couple of years, if we have the choice between going long-term housing versus another guest house hotel, we're most likely going to go and lean towards the long-term housing. We've got plenty of hotel projects already in the works, and so those are going to continue to go on. But the stuff that's going to be new that we're going to invest in next is going to be for this long-term play. Let me give you a pro tip about that, because you want to get this cash flow and you want to get the low turnover. Now, how do you do that? One of the things that you're going to need to do, and this is your pro tip, is screen your tenants really, really well. So if you don't screen your tenants really, really well, then you're going to have that turnover. You're going to have evictions. You're going to have people that don't pay, and that becomes a pain in the ass. That causes people to become tired landlords. We don't want you to do that. So spend the extra time early when you're renting the stuff out so that you screen your tenants well, so that they come in at a really good, fair market rate rent, and they stay with you for 5, 6, 8 years, maybe even longer sometimes. The next thing I like about this strategy is that you have predictable expenses. You can budget for, maybe 3 to 5% of repairs per year. That should be more than enough on a regular rental house, especially if you've done a value add investment and you've already fixed everything, like you've done brand new plumbing and you've got brand new electric and you've got all brand new doors and windows and toilets and light fixtures. You really shouldn't have any problems, especially on the island of Puerto Rico, where these properties, they are built to last. They're built to withstand a Category 5 hurricane, and they do, right? Like, they're just well built, block everything, block foundations, block walls, block ceilings. Once you've done the value add renovation, you've got a pretty close to indestructible piece of property that shouldn't have a lot of maintenance issues. So I like that predictability about your expenses. That's one of the main things that I love about the long-term rental play. One of the other things that I really like about this play is that I believe that this is what the island needs most. So does the island need another small guest house? Does the island need another Airbnb? Well, the answer is probably not. Even though the government is rewarding real estate investors like yourself to invest in those types of projects, now that you've got kind of the same benefits to invest in this other way, and you know that there's 250,000 houses missing, so there's a housing shortage on the island, this really does seem to be the best fit. And as a real estate investor, you're going to make your money for solving problems. If you can solve the housing problems for 250,000 families, that's a pretty damn good problem to solve.